Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show.
Welcome back into the Cowboys post-game show.
Why? No. We've already done that.
Okay. But we do have a very special guest.
Grab!
He's back.
Back.
How are you feeling?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It was a rough ride there for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a rough ride.
I'm glad.
Back. I'm feeling good.
I'm glad you're feeling better. We missed you yesterday.
Got all the liquids back in me.
Kidoki. I would say I haven't checked the ratings, Pickle. I presume they plummeted yesterday.
Yeah, no Grev is bad for
I feel like
society.
people-
Well, you were at least +1 because I listened to the show.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then,
We had one.
we had one. We were probably minus $1 million and then +1. So, that all works.
Doesn't necessarily even out, but we're here.
How was your football weekend?
I mean, the Cowboys thing was rough.
Cowboys thing was rough. Cowboys thing was rough.
It was a good weekend, though, full of so we had the next level camps, which we'll get to at the, I guess, the regular part of the show, not the free part.
Are you back?
Wait, it's all free.
Oh, it's all.
We don't tell people that.
Yeah. My Venmo is Greg-Tepper. If you want to.
Okay.
Send me some money for this
Send
show.
him some money, and then I'll try to get a cut.
Yeah, exactly. I will give.
I'm not giving my Venmo.
I'll give 20% of whatever I get on Venmo over to Powers.
Nice.
Here during the course of the show.
Am I chopped liver?
You didn't ask.
Yeah,
Well,
you didn't
that's fair.
Got to grovel a little bit.
Exactly right. Yeah. Come
For
on.
some cash.
Come on. So are your boys back at are you back empty nesting?
No, not all the way.
Not all the way.
Not all the way.
Okay.
But yeah, one of my sons is back at college, and
Okay.
one of my sons is doing this semester online.
Got it. Okay.
So
Got it. So you're still having to feed them.
yes,
That's tough.
actually he baked a ham yesterday. So technically,
Your son just baked a ham?
Technically, he's feeding me, I guess.
Man, there's going to come a time,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope we're all still in each other's lives here in 13 years,
Yeah.
something like that.
We're still going to be doing this show.
Maybe we're still doing this show.
He worked with me some at the Next Level Athlete Camp this weekend too. We had a great time. He did headshot photos
Nice.
Oh, nice.
and video over there. They were great.
If Hank ever bakes me a ham,
Yeah.
you guys are coming over to eat it.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm inviting you over for Hank's ham.
So all right,
That sounds like a TV episode.
shout out to my sons, Andrew and Hunter.
Yeah.
Hunter is the one who baked the ham, but they also bought me a slicer that was my Christmas present. Was a meat slicer.
nice.
Oh, that rocks.
So baked the ham and then sliced it on the Christmas present slicer yesterday. So
Did it work well?
yeah, it worked well, man. It was like the thinnest sliced baked ham that I ever had, and we made some nice sandwiches.
Wow.
Ooh,
So,
that's awesome.
That's
Good
pretty
for
cool.
you.
yeah, it was pretty neat.
Man,
I'm gonna be slicing all kinds of crap on there now.
Yeah.
Hopefully not my finger.
Like now it's one of those things. It's one of those things where once you get something, then you start eating a lot more of that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
you guys have an air fryer, right?
Yes.
It was like when you got the air fryer, you're just like, oh, I'm just going to fry everything gets
Yeah.
fried.
you
now.
wanted to try everything. I remember I was air frying broccoli.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
There's
But I
nothing-
would have never thought. I was like, oh, I need to eat more broccoli.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's just going to be like large, just like cuts of meat.
It's just going to be meats.
Just
Yeah.
lots of
Meat
meats in the
slices.
Powers household.
For me, it was obviously I had to live in a dorm my freshman year, but then after I moved out of the dorm, my mom got me a nice big old crock pot.
Oh yeah.
And so then it was
You still are
I
soup
just
pickle.
oh yeah, I was going to say then I just ate soup forever because I had way too much soup. That was way too much for just one person, but I had to use the
I
crock
have an
pot.
admission.
Ooh, okay.
I'm very anti crock pot.
Okay, well that's a bad take, but
Wow.
I don't know.
This
I
is
think-
going to do severe damage to you and Pickle's relationship.
I don't think so.
do you have an instant pot?
Yes. I
Are
don't
you
mind the
anti-Instant Pot?
I'm anti crock pot. I don't know if I'm anti instant pot.
All right.
What about the crock
Yeah.
pot?
Is it
I just
too
not into the
convenient?
slow cooked meals. Like I like if I'm baking it or if I'm making chicken, I like to flash fry it and get the flavor on there, then braise it or bake it. I'm not as a big fan of the flavor that comes out of the crock
So I
pot.
guess we need to back up here.
Man, I'm opening up so many cans of
Yeah.
worms
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
live with whenever I get
This
home
is
too.
tough.
I know.
This is tough for you.
Well, it's more surprising
Shout
about
out
the slow
Rebecca.
cooker because you do like smoking meats, which is realistically,
That's slow
like
cooking
slow
meats.
cooking
with flavor.
with flavor. What
There's no flavor getting introduced when you crock pot something. You're basically boiling.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but I guess we need to back up because for me, in my opinion, the crock pot is specifically designed, if you were to narrow it down to one like function, it's soup, right?
Yeah.
Is that a fair assumption?
I think a lot of
Like,
people make like pot roasts in it,
Yeah,
or
they're-
like chicken.
To me, those are things you can do in a crock pot. But if you were to go to its raison d'etre, if you were to go to its function, it is for soup, in my opinion.
And your soup will be better if you render down the onions in an actual pot.
Are you a soup guy?
Yeah, I like soup.
And you'll just make a pot of soup?
Yeah, like when you make vegetable soup, it's not going to be as good in a crock pot as if you like fry the pot roast in the bottom of the pan, take the pot roast out, then put the onions and your holy trinity inside of there and like render it down with the flavors. It's just going to be better.
Yeah, no, don't disagree, but ain't
also,
nobody got time for that.
Yeah, I also feel like the crock pot comes in super handy when
Man, I
you're.
didn't think that you were going to be on this side of the argument, Tepper. All right, sorry.
I think
No,
crock
I'm
pot
pro
comes in
crock-pot.
super handy too when you're doing like a lot of prep for like an event type of thing. Like
Yes.
for instance, when we host Christmas, we always do Mexican food with the pickle family, and it's like the crock pot is perfect for the beans because it frees
Okay.
off, like it frees up a stove portion that you need for other stuff.
Another example. We've started doing mashed potatoes in the crock pot.
Like from start to finish?
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll do.
Never thought about
we'll
that.
do. You'll do. I'll send you a recipe of crock pot mashed
interesting.
potatoes. And the
Converting me to a crock pot man.
And
Yeah.
the thing is, again, to your point, which is an excellent point, it keeps it warm, and so it's like, like you don't have to continually microwave them.
See, I like the crock pot for the queso.
Queso's
Okay,
great.
yes.
We
Queso's
always
great.
do queso in the crock
Can't
pot.
do anything different to a queso that on the stove or in the microwave or whatever that you're not going to do to it on a crock pot. In a crock pot.
Okay. It kind of sounds like you came in real hard and fast against the crock pot, and
I'm
now
not-
you're backpedaling a little bit. 'Cause
I'm
you're
not
realizing
backpedaling. I said queso's good in the.
You're-
I
you're-
had one item that I liked in the crock. One item better. I can eat food out of the crock. I'm not saying like, oh, I don't want to eat it. I'm just saying I prefer it to be.
Yeah. That's a tough opinion. Hit the theme, Expo.
Hang on.
Pickle. Hit the arrow sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Louisville, Texas, it's Texas Football Today, a program that is pro crockpot. At least 66% of us. My name's Greg Tepper. I am the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or you'll show us the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dorks. She is Miss 305. She's Ashley Pickle.
Hello. Hi, friends. Pro crockpot.
Yeah. You
Me
and me.
too.
Here and here working on his he just got done at the Next Level Athlete Camp, so it's good that he's working on his back pedal. It's Greg Powers, the director of recruiting here, Dave Campbell's Texas Football.
Howdy, y'all.
Hi.
Yeah.
You got out of the infirmary and you just had all these hot takes.
They were like
pent
growing,
up.
They're growing inside of me.
Will and Ish are also pro crockpot.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're taking a vote in the Slack.
Man, this is just as bad as my Honey Nut Cheerios.
The Honey Nut Cheerios take was pretty bad.
Oh,
too.
is that your favorite cereal,
No,
right?
No, it
that
wasn't
was
that day
that's when
because
Max roasted him.
Yeah, Max roasted me over the Honey Nut Cheerios because
When I'm feeling like a bad little boy, give me a bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios.
I had
I do
just had
remember that now.
like I had just come off a great bowl of it too, like maybe like 2 days
Yeah.
prior. To
Oh,
that question.
God.
Sometimes this is 4 years after the fact now, so I'll defend you here.
Carter is anti-crockpot.
Well,
Carter probably doesn't cook.
You're a child, Carter. Don't get it. Anyway, all I was going to say is that, and now 4 years after the fact, 4 years after you got roasted by Max.
Yeah, it was fair.
I'm here to tell you that there are some times that a bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios really hits.
No, I like Honey Nut Cheerios. I just don't know that I would rate it at. I actually don't believe that I would rate it in front of Fruity Pebbles or Captain Crunch.
I think Fruity Pebbles are trash.
Man, I don't know what world you're living in
Boy,
today,
this is,
Pickle. We usually sync up.
I mean, I feel like now I have to issue a terrible take. Today is Thursday, January 18th, 2023. It's 315 days until Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to, I don't know, Jason Segel's birthday today. Kevin Costner.
Okay.
Shout out
Yellowstone.
It's Yellowstone.
It's going to be Matthew McConaughey, I think, moving forward after Kevin Costner's done.
Are they moving? They're moving him out.
They're moving him out.
Okay, that stinks. Is that still gonna how's that going to affect the Powers household? Because I know you guys are Yellowstone people.
I don't know. We're gonna have to see how it wraps up. I'm pretty excited, looking forward to the new season. Everything that I can't recall the guy's name Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah,
everything Taylor Sheridan touches is usually
pretty good.
Decent.
Pretty good.
Yeah, at least it's dramatic.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, I have hopes as long as he's making something that'll be good.
It's episode 1719. On today's show, folks, Powers is back after a day in the sick ward. And so, as a result, we can't not talk Crootin with Powers. He's in the building. So, we're going to talk a little recruiting because he had a busy recruiting weekend. We'll talk about all those things that he saw. In the back half of the show, we've been busy little bees flying around the state, including Matt Stepp down at the Coastal Bend Coaching Clinic down there in Corpus Christi, where he caught up with the head coach of the 3A Division II state finalist Tidehaven Tigers, Coach David Lucio. We'll hear from Coach Lucio coming up here in just a little bit. Do we have first word through the door?
We sure do. It was Big Jiggly Water Balloons, who is in the mood for dinner queso, which rocks.
Okay.
Just having queso for dinner is
completely honestly,
acceptable.
I'll even zoom out a little bit. If you just go dip dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Correct.
know what I mean? Like, give me some guacamole, some salsa, and just a
If
big
you had
bowl of
5
chips.
little tiny crock pots, you could do 5 different dips.
That's exactly right. If you just had like a mini, we used to have the three thing that was like divided into 3 little ones. That was a good time in my life.
So what would you put? All right. What dips would
go.
you put in? Got queso in one, right?
Queso's in one. We had like an artichoke dip in another
Yeah.
one.
Oh yeah,
which was pretty
that's warm is
I
good.
make what a great spinach artichoke dip, by the way.
I don't remember what the third one was, honestly.
Okay,
Buffalo
honestly,
chicken.
Yeah, but I don't think that is an excellent dip and certainly worthy of a crock pot spot. But it was not. We never did that because we don't. Some people are afraid to be the best, like me. Apparently.
real quick, I need just a quick opinion here.
All
Well,
right.
let me get through that. Hang on. Big Jiggly Water Balloons, Blindside, Bassin Homan, jersey number 69, and Daniel Agnew. Welcome in, fellas. When you go to a Mexican food restaurant, do you prefer the salsa to be hot or cold?
Cold.
Cold?
I'm
Okay.
a cold salsa guy. Now, I want to be clear. I do not have this is not a deal breaker for me. If you bring me hot salsa, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's all good. No, doesn't hurt my feelings. But like if you're asking me preference, I prefer like a warm chip and some cold salsa.
Yep.
I agree with that.
I say 90% of the salsa I eat is cold salsa. It's always a pleasant surprise when it's warm. I think that I don't expect it to ever be, and so when it is, it's like, oh, this is kind of nice.
I think this is a good take for that. I like the fresh garden salsa because of cilantro and the flavor of that salsa. But when they bring a hot salsa, the meal behind it usually is pretty stinking good.
Yes.
That is true.
I agree with that.
That seems to be like a canary in the coal mine.
Yeah,
of
they've
like,
taken the care, like you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, they're
There's
taking
like
the-
a trend there that the meal behind the hot salsa is
Ooh.
usually excellent.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good.
And it makes
that's
I
a
feel like
good-
the
good
warm
opinion.
makes it feel like it's freshly made.
Yes.
Like you're not going to get like a cold salsa could have been sitting in a fridge for who knows how long, but it feels like the warm ones, like it just came off them making it.
I agree. Okay. Do you want to do the This Week in Recruiting intro?
Yeah.
I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. This is This Week.
And Crootin. This week
On Thursday like it normally is.
This week in Crootin, kind of.
Here on Texas Football
Recruiting
Today.
free for all.
With Greg Powers.
You
we
broke
threw it on
it.
Thursday. And it's like, I
He
don't
said the
know.
word Thursday and then his brain short-circuited.
It's like this is not a Thursday segment.
But we just get to talk about Chicken Express more.
So he's finally working at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. And, of course, this is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express, now that is a sauce that is just, it is required to be warm. That gravy, warm gravy.
Now that I could put in a crock pot.
I will put that, oh my gosh, dude.
Keep it warm all day.
Now, I've never had the courage to go in, because they'll sell you like a big old thing of gravy. I usually just get the individual size, but
You get a family size.
You get a family size gravy?
That is, talk about warming you up on a cold day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, buddy. Ooh, that's...
Some Chicken Express gravy and some mashed potatoes.
It's This Week in Recruiting, kind of. It's a recruiting free-for-all, because Powers was out yesterday, but you're back now. And you were a busy bee this weekend. You were at the Next Level Athlete Texas Top 100 Showcase.
Two of them.
Two of them. Where were they?
Houston at Barbers Hill indoor facility, and then Richardson Berkner's indoor facility in the Dallas area.
Okay. So let's go in chronological order. You're down in Houston at Barbers Hill, down there in the Houston area. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but overall, when you took a look at what you saw there in Houston, were there 2, 3, a handful of guys who popped off that you go, oh, okay, this is a dude who needs to be on my radar?
First off, shout out to the Next Level Athlete staff. They put on a tremendous camp, both stops, a lot of talent at both places. Houston camp, what I found interesting is at both camps there were strengths positionally, and they were different at both places. And one thing that really popped off to me at the Houston area camp was the talent at wide receiver.
Okay.
And there were some really good guys and some guys who I think that are really going to climb up the recruiting ranks as this process goes along, right? It's still very early for the class of 2025 kids, especially the 2026 kids. There's some young guys there as well. Ed Small.
Yes.
Austin Anderson, two-sport athlete. He's committed to play baseball at Texas. This dude catches everything.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. Tough catches. He made them look easy. Throws that weren't exactly on the money, he went out and got them. He's a tremendous center fielder, and that's why he's committed to Texas baseball. When he was in the 9th grade, he got an offer from Texas baseball when he was in when he was in the 8th grade.
Oh my gosh!
So a tremendous dual sport athlete down there. I think he's got 3 offers in football now. I think he's going to be one of the spring's hottest targets.
Okay.
Like,
you think people are going to try to pry him away from baseball or try to let him do
certainly.
the two? Yeah.
TCU's offered him a chance to play both sports in college already. He's got offers from Texas State and Tulsa as well right now. But I think that he's a guy that many people will target. He could be a future NFL player. He's one of those guys that runs great routes. I think that he could play inside out or outside in. Would be a great slot option, but has the hands and the ability to go to the outside and make plays. I really like Ed Small's potential. I think that he's a name that a lot of people are going to get to know, like here in the near future. Like he's really good. Okay. Jalen Cooper, Cibolo Steel. That offense is stacked.
That guy was a Mr. Texas Ball semifinalist. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the wide receiver MVP. His route running skills are great. I think that he had 11 offers when I talked to him after the camp. I think he might have gotten a couple since the end of the camp already. But I feel like he hasn't hit that national offer button.
Oh,
yeah.
Yet, he's kind of a local secret.
Like the regional schools have really been on him, and a lot of the bigger schools around this area are on him. But I think that he's a guy that's going to get the LSU's and Clemson's and maybe USC's of the world. Oregon seems like that is a school that would fall in love with the Jalen Cooper. Slick in and out of his cuts, picked up the wide receiver MVP honors. That Steel offense with Jonathan Hatton and Jalen Cooper and Chad Warner and Royal Capel. That is a team to watch.
Yeah, they're loaded.
Yeah, that's a team to watch next year. And I feel like it's Steel they've had some offensive guys over the years, but I feel like it's been more of a defensive.
Yeah, when I think Steel, I think defense. I think, obviously like the safeties they've had over the course of I think safety specifically. I think defensive backs is when I think of Steel. But they've had their fair number of outstanding offensive weapons too. But this year, like no doubt, like when I think of their offense, and by the way, to be clear, they have some outstanding defensive players on their team this year. But this particular group feels like an offense heavy.
I agree 100%.
Yeah,
like
roster.
I think that could be a team we see in AT&T Stadium next year for the state championship games. I mean, I think that is a team that's going to to make a run.
Yeah.
Just based behind that talent, they have levels.
Yeah.
They have something at every position, right? And if they have it up front in the trenches, then that's going to be a very dangerous team. And I think that they probably will. Jaquise Martin, Brian Rudder.
Oh, yeah.
This dude right there with these other two guys. With,
Oh, wow.
Really?
Jalen Cooper and Ed Small. This guy, very quick in and out of his cuts, tremendous hands. Another guy that I think is probably a guy that you'll see make a lot of plays out of the slot in college, but will be an outside force at the high school level. On his tape, he's like a running back. They put him in the Wildcat or get him touches out of the backfield quite often there. He is very adept at making moves in the open field, very skillful in that manner. I really like him. So those are like three guys that I think that we're going to be like, all right, well, here's where they are now. In 2 months from now, their offer lists are going to be like, around, in case of Ed Small, maybe quadrupled or whatever. But these other guys that have, 10, 12 offers, are going to have 24 offers. They're going to really blow up. Jermod Odoms was there.
Oh, yeah.
Houston Lamar offensive tackle, really skillful. He's got a high upside. I think that he has around 20 scholarship offers already. I think that he's going to be really good. And at quarterback, Roman Seymour took home QB MVP honors. Kaiden Barker from Galveston Ball, who had a tremendous sophomore season, lead Galveston Ball. Like really,
that was a big question for
yeah,
men
it was like a
during the year when
turnaround.
he was,
Grant Smith, Conroe Grand Oaks, really good, and a guy that talk about passing the eyeball test, Caden Johnson.
Yeah.
Fort Bend Marshall.
He looks the part,
monster.
man. He does look the part.
He's a monster. Reese Weiss was there from Westlake.
Oh, yeah.
Who, won that job as a sophomore, which that was a stiff quarterback battle, and he was able to secure the starting position this year. I think big things out of him in the future. See big things out of him in the future as well. So Chad Warner.
Yes.
Chad Warner.
The Book of Warner.
He's gained about 20 pounds.
Oh, really?
Since I last saw him, and I think that that's going to help propel him, because he's got the arm. He's always had the arm.
No, there have been some times you watch in the Steel game and he'll let one rip and you go, oh, okay, that'll do.
So those were the positions that kind of stood out to me at that camp, and those were some of the guys that I marked down as like I should definitely talk about these guys. And you can go ahead and check out our content. I collected 18 interviews between the two camps, and we've got 12 of those posted already, and we have the MVPs up as well. That's texasfootball.com/recruiting.
Yeah, 12 of them posted, Pickle. 12 out of the 18.
Got more coming today.
Nice.
Where are the other 6, Pickle?
Powers is a G, and he edits him himself, so
I'm
he
in charge of that.
takes one thing off of our
Will you
plate.
just
So
let me bully Pickle here for a minute?
Lamont Rogers is on deck. Lamont Rogers' interview is on deck.
It's This Week in Recruiting, kind of, with Greg Powers of our director of recruiting here. All right, so then you made your way from Houston up to Richardson to the Next Level Athlete Texas Top 100 Showcase in the DFW area. So we focused a lot on receiver. That was the key, kind of the positional strength there in the Houston area. What about the DFW clinic?
O-line.
Really?
The O-line. This is the most. I've been going to the Next Level camp. I think the first one was in 2004. I think.
good Lord.
I've been going to these. I think this was the ninth. There's been some years like the COVID year where they didn't have a camp. I think this was the 19th annual camp that they've had. This might have been the deepest O-line group I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It was stacked.
So you were in your bag.
Yeah.
Like, this was literally heaven for Greg Powers.
I tried to talk to all these O-linemen about it, too. I was like, oh, man, I'm so excited. And, like, I don't know that anybody actually appreciated. Like,
There's like, yeah, we are pretty good, I guess.
and I interviewed, like, a significant portion of the O-linemen who came through there. Owen Hollenbeck took home O-line MVP honors. Offensive center from Melissa High School is committed to Oklahoma. You heard his interview yesterday. Tremendously well-spoken student athlete, but he is a monster.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, hey, Owen, let's do an interview. And I went over and I reached my hand down to like help him up off the ground where he was sitting, before the camp.
And then Powers dislocated his shoulder.
He just like kind of sat there, like just to mess with me. I could not move him. Like not even an inch. Like he was a rock. Like I'm telling you, this dude is a force, a menace up front. Deservedly took home MVP honors. Offensive center, I feel like, is one of those positions. He could play guard too, but I think that it's important to find a good center, right? A guy that can lead your offensive front. He's extremely intelligent, and in the interview, if you listen to it yesterday, I had pegged him as a Creed Humphrey clone before, and that's what OU's pitch to him was.
Yeah.
And that's how, like, that was like one of their best pitches. And he's been a long time kind of like OU lean. We had fun talking about it. You remember Nigel Smith went to OU last year. He committed before Owen, but Owen was really recruiting Nigel to OU before Owen actually committed.
That's
so a little bit of like behind the scenes or fun stuff to talk about there. Lamont Rogers was there for Mesquite Horn. Lamont doesn't do a lot of camps. So it was like really cool to get to see him in action. He is a tremendous basketball player. He plays left tackle at Mesquite Horn, and I love to see like guys who steadily make improvement and take their craft seriously. Lamont Rogers, from where he started when he played his first game as a sophomore at Mesquite Horn to where he is now, is night and day. He's always been a good prospect. Like schools just started offering him because he was 6'7", 6'8", 275 pounds, and he has the frame of NFL left tackle. Well, now he has the game to back all that up. He picked up an offer from Ohio State yesterday to make it number 28. Lamont Rogers is the prototype left tackle, tremendous footwork, can mirror guys on the island, and has the ability to be getting paid in the NFL one day. He's still a good basketball player. I think he's the premier big man on the Mesquite Horn basketball team. But credit to the Mesquite Horn coaching staff for how they've developed him and helped him transition into becoming, and not only a guy with elite offers, but an elite talent as well. Ty Haywood, Denton Ryan, number 3 prospect in the DCTF Hot 100. Ty Haywood is a man-child, and I think that he has left tackle potential, 6'5", 280 pounds, legit. But I think that he has the ability to play anywhere up front. Really like his game a whole lot. Ty Haywood, he quit counting his offers. He has so many. So I was like, we're like 20, 30, 40, somewhere in there. He's got a bunch. Everybody in the country coming after him. We spoke specifically about Texas A&M, and Oklahoma. So I think that he has a little bit of a regional feel. And you'll love this pickle. I always mess with these guys on camera about like what they're looking for in a school. And I always make that joke, like, oh, I got to have a Chick-fil-A close to my campus, right? Like, or on campus, so I can get the sweet tea and the nugs,
right?
Or chicken. I got to be next to Chicken Express, or I got to be next to whatever food place.
Yeah, you got to have your Tindies.
And no one ever like says that unprompted. So I asked Ty Haywood, like, what is he looking for in a school? And he's like, oh, I'm not a big culture guy, so I don't go out a lot, so I'm not really. That's not like something that's important to me. He's like, I'm looking for a home feeling. Like I want to feel at home on campus. So because I don't like to go out that much, I can be comfortable there.
Right.
But he's like, it's got to be about the food. It's got to be about the food.
That rocks.
And I didn't think to follow up like that question with like, are you talking about on campus food or are you talking about like Chick-fil-A or Chicken Express? Like what are you talking about here? But
that's so good.
If you go back and watch the interview, you can just see my eyes. My eyes.
Finally, something I'm interested in.
Yeah, finally. Let's talk about this food. Who has like the best spread when you went on the visit and all that? This is something that Ty, if you're Ty, this is something I want to dive into.
It's always funny. It's funny because I know we all have friends who are in the recruiting world as far as like on college staffs and stuff like that. And if you follow these people on Instagram, especially certain times of year, all it is just like going to these like the most incredible food that they're like obviously like they're players on OVs and stuff like that, so they want to roll out the red carpet. But like the recruiting people get to eat that too. It's like, man, you guys know living life.
Jessica Morey down at Rice always has like watching her Instagram stories. I'm like, oh my god, that steak looks fantastic every single time.
So I spent a couple years working down on Baylor's campus, and their food in general on campus is tremendous. Like even like the normal food for the students, like they have like this thing where you go in and it's like a huge square and it's basically a buffet. So you pay one price, even if you walk in off the street.
Oh yeah,
you can pay one price and then you can go around the buffet and eat as much as you want and take home as much as you want for one price, because they don't really differentiate between a student and somebody who walks in off the street. That food's really good, but what the student athletes were eating, like in their own special cafeteria.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness,
it's
different. It was so good.
When we did the photo shoot at TCU last year with Coach Sonny Dykes, you walk through like their like the student athlete cafeteria that they have there and stuff like that, and you're just like, oh, you guys are eating right. You guys are getting taken care of. Yeah, absolutely.
So before we move on, I do want to say, like, Malik Hawkins, the brother of Mike Hawkins, who signed with OU, he took home defensive back MVP honors. That marks the third year that a Hawkins won an MVP honor at the next level camp, because Mike Hawkins was the only 2-time MVP at quarterback in the history of the camp. And then Malik Hawkins was the DB MVP yesterday. So that's 3 years in a row that a Hawkins has won DB MVP honors. Kelvion Riggins was there. He has 38 scholarship offers, and I think that he could be closing in on a decision sometime here in the near future. He just is fresh off of a Texas A&M visit and has some big visits coming up with Tennessee and LSU before he kind of tries to decide on where he wants to go. There are many top schools in the running for his commitment. But there was a youth movement at that Dallas camp, and I think there are some guys that fans should definitely know about, and it's Antavius Ellis at Crowley, wide receiver. Zane Rowe, Kyron Haywood, and Zephyr Cree. Denton Geyer. The future at Denton Geyer is sick.
Yeah, this was the year to get Geyer. Yeah. Like this past year was the year to get him because they were all babies.
Yeah, and they're coming. You know, they got DJ Reese in that same 2027 class, and Corbin Glasgow bringing a lot of speed to that offense. They're going to be really, really good. A guy that really grabbed my eye, though, that I didn't know a whole lot about before this camp was Julian Navarrete from Bernie Champion. 2027 quarterback. This kid can flat out sling it. I mean, he can sling it. Okay. Very accurate, plus arm strength, can fit the ball into tight windows. Really impressed with his game.
And it's been a minute for Champion, too.
Yeah. Well, outside of Gage Goldberg.
That's right, Gage Goldberg.
Gage Goldberg going to Colorado this week. Jerry Outhouse, a defensive back from Brewer, a guy to keep on your radar. And over at Louisville, they're going to be hitting the reset button at quarterback, and they have a youngster named Trey Williams to keep an eye on. So those are a lot of 2027 guys that are out. There was actually more than that. Some of them I didn't mention here, but just stay following us on social media and stay on TexasFootball.com to see some more content dropping out from this thing. But the youth movement was real at the Dallas camp, and there are a lot. That 2027 class is going to be pretty loaded. But, 2025.
Yeah.
You know, I think that 2024 was okay. You remember, like, 2023 was like that year where I was like, man, this sucks to do these rankings because
you're leaving elite players off of the 4-star list.
Yeah, there's like 25 guys that have a legitimate gripe, and like when they say something to me, I really can't defend it.
You're like, agreed.
Yeah, like agreed. You should be a 4-star. That's what I feel like 2025 is going to be like, because I'm up to about. Right now, I'm up to about 65 guys that I feel pretty comfortable with that I would be like, yeah, you should be a 4-star. And it's going to be tough because you're already leaving off 15, and we're not even into the meat of the spring evaluation period yet.
But you're already in your bag out at these camps, including the next level athlete camps here these past couple of weeks.
We called it a free for all. Ask me about a college. Ask me about, like, just say, Greg, pick a random college you want to talk about.
Let's say Houston.
No, you ask me the college.
Oh, okay. Ask me. I'm confused.
Hey, Greg, talk about
a college. Hey, Greg, talk about a college.
I want to talk about UTEP.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to talk about UTEP because UTEP, underneath the direction of Scotty Walden, has done a tremendous job in relaunching the brand to Texas high school footballs over the last couple weeks. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this on social media, but they've been dropping offers like crazy.
They have. I've noticed. I've seen UTEP on my timeline a lot.
Which is something that I think that I didn't understand previously as to why wasn't UTEP like trying to get these guys on. Everybody agrees that El Paso is a great place to go to. Right?
Pickle was just there, like just for fun.
We took a family trip to El Paso because I love it.
I think that everybody agrees that it's a great place to be, so why not have a chance to get some of these recruits on campus and let them see it for themselves, right? And like see what the culture's about, see what it's like in El Paso. To get your foot in the door with some of these guys, you got to offer them, right? Like that's a jumping off point to kind of like see who's interested in you and like see maybe who will actually make the trip to El Paso. And they've done a tremendous job offering guys that I feel like are good football players that have been flying under the radar. as a matter of fact, like one of the guys that I'm really high on still in the class of 2024, Heath McCree, was on an official visit there this past weekend. Had a tremendous time. I think he categorized that visit as like I don't remember his exact quote, but to sum it up, was like it was a different type of vibe there than he had seen on other campuses. They extended an offer to South Oak Cliff running back Danny Green yesterday, who I think that we would all agree is a tremendous high school football player.
Yep.
I almost feel like some of the stuff that, like Elliot Shaper is a guy that I've been high on at Austin Westlake, a linebacker, 2025 linebacker. They were, popped off for an offer on him. But you can go out there and like look at this list of what UTEP's been doing in the streets of recruiting Texas high school football, and they're starting to send a different message, and there's a buzz out there. Talking with like people at this camp, talking to I'm out talking to a lot of coaches and recruits and stuff all the time. There's a buzz about UTEP, and I've been doing this. There's never been a buzz about UTEP like this before.
That's great.
And that makes me excited because I like to talk about different things and cover different colleges and that kind of stuff. I'm excited to see what this staff will do.
I remember going out when we did our staff trip out to El Paso a couple of years ago and talking with Dana Dimmel and the staff beforehand. And I think it was either Dimmel or it was Barrick Neely, who's now back at Texas State. But one of them told us, they said, our biggest challenge is just getting guys here.
Right.
If we get they were 100% confident. Like if we get them here, if we get the people who are actually interested, if we get them here, we can close them. It's just a matter of they're fighting against a lot of narratives. They're fighting against a lot of different, in my opinion, incorrect perspectives and stuff about El Paso and about that. It is a long way away. There's no fighting that. But they were confident. They were like, look, if we just get them on campus and we get them here for a visit, we'll seal the deal. And so I think
it's beautiful.
And
The Sun Bowl itself, I mean, their facilities are pretty.
Walden, I haven't talked to them, but judging by his actions, it sounds like he's of that same opinion of let's get you out here, and then we're going to show you that this is the right place for you. That's our job.
I think they've done a tremendous job with their hires too. I mean, some of the guys. Obviously, I'm a bit biased because I want to talk about guys who I know, right?
Yeah.
I thought Chad Johnson hire was really savvy. Chad Johnson has been tremendous in Houston area recruiting, helping kids down there in high school achieve their goals and their dreams of getting a chance to play on the next level. Now he's on the other side of that, right? Now he's given the opportunities, so it's a little bit different. But I think that a lot of people know Coach Johnson and respect what he's done down there. They picked up Ty Barrett, who was actually one of my favorite recruits that I covered out of Dallas Skyline, offensive lineman there. But a lot of people know who Ty Barrett is and kind of respect his opinion. He's very enigmatic. He's a guy who people gravitate towards. He's been an excellent recruiter while he was at Louisiana Tech, and before that, he's been a guy that has had no qualms about uncovering hidden gems and that kind of stuff. But beyond that, I think that they've done a pretty good job with filling out their staff with guys who are Texas high school football centric and will do an excellent job in recruiting this state. Now, they're going to have to recruit the transfer portal. It's all about wins and losses,
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
You can't sustain your program if you're not picking up wins. So, I mean, all that is to be washed out. But my early impressions of what they're doing in recruiting is, one, that it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun to watch. They've been offering fun players and going after some of the guys who we would categorize as why is this guy not getting recruited?
Yeah. There's always a handful of those guys that we talk about around the office. Why? How many offers does this guy have? And then you look, he has one offer from, Georgia Southern or something like that. You're like, why are we? Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Those are the guys that we would say rock as a football, like a Texas high school football player who rocks.
Absolutely, for sure, yeah. The dudes rock guys. That's a good way to go about business.
It'd be interesting to see who they sign for this 2024 class. That, to me, is there's some intriguing things out there, like Terry Bussey. Where will Terry Bussey end up?
Probably not UTEP. I want to make sure we draw a clear delineation. He's probably not going to UTEP.
Where will Terry Bussey
expectations there?
Where will Terry Bussey end up?
But it would be dope if he did.
That'd be sick.
What if he just rips apart Conference USA?
That would be awesome.
Now I'm rooting for that.
And
Terry, call me.
What will UTEP sign? Right, because that's going to be kind of an indication of how can they close on some of these guys that they have offered. If they hit on a couple of them, I think it's a good or interesting storyline on that national signing day after the early signing period of how they change so quickly.
He's Greg Powers. He's all over the recruiting at texasfootball.com/recruiting. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout. And follow him on Instagram. Greg Powers Recruiting.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Let's
follow him on
go.
Instagram. It's a good follow. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on texasfootball.com, talking football on the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbells. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbells. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Coming up here momentarily, Matt Stepp caught up with Tidehaven head coach David Lucio at the Coastal Bend Coaching Clinic. But that will be right after these words from our sponsors.
I feel like bustin' loose, bustin' loose. Come on, get on up. Oh yeah, get on up. Bustin' loose when you wanna sing. Bustin' loose, baby, do your thing. Talking about bustin' loose, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support, virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Wing is the largest residential drone delivery provider in the world, delivering to your home in less than 30 minutes. Order using an app just like other popular delivery services, and Wing's automated drone takes care of the rest. It's fast, safe, and sustainable, and it's now delivering to parts of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. You can learn more at wing.com/TexasFootball. Again, that's wing.com/TexasFootball.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texans love doing business with fellow Texans. VCR now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
Matt Stepp, Dave Campbell's Texas Football here at the Coastal Bend Coaches Association Clinic, here with the head coach of the Tidehaven Tigers, Coach David Lucio. Coach, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat with us before you go to the house and get some work done with this cold weather coming in, right?
Get them pipes wrapped, man.
Y'all aren't used to this cold weather down in South Texas, are you?
No, we're not, man. We like to leave them pipes uncovered for most of the year, man. Every once in a while, we got to jump up under there and get stuff wrapped up, man.
There you go. Well, Coach, first off, congratulations. Unbelievable season for your ball club, your community, playing at AT&T Stadium, all that comes with it. How looking back, I know you've had a little time to reflect on it and think of all the great times and the great memories that I'm sure you've made. How special was 2023 for you, your team, and Tidehaven as a community?
Yeah, man, it was awesome. The last few weeks of the season, they go by so fast. You don't really have a lot of time to stop and catch your breath and say, man, wow, I'm here. It's kind of like you get home and one day you sit there and go, dang, man, I was at Arlington Stadium playing for a state championship. And it hit me probably about a week after everything settled down. But, yeah, it was amazing, man. And just the whole experience. Kudos to the UIL for putting on an event. You hear about how awesome it is and stuff, but when you actually get there and you see all the stuff they gotta do and for the organization and all that. It's phenomenal, and we had a great time, and we look forward to maybe one day being back.
And speaking of the UIL, have you positioned the UIL for an extra year of eligibility for some of your seniors that are graduating? 'Cause you had a heck of a group of seniors.
Yeah, man, I've got we got a new kid in. He's real big. His name's Joey Dodds. He just moved in, and so we're gonna see if we can get him eligibility. Nah, but on the real though, we're gonna lose a special senior class. But I had a lot of young guys on the team too, so we're gonna build around them, and we'll probably just do things a little different. We obviously fed the ball offensively to Joseph and played around him, so now we'll just take a different approach. Nothing new to us, man. We kind of do that every year, and we have 4 sophomores playing on that offensive line, so we'll have them for the next couple of years. We're going to have some fun times running behind them, and then defensively, about 5 or 6 starters returning back from them, so we'll build around them. And main thing is this offseason is to get the younger cats, get their weight up, get their speed up or speed down, depending on how you look at it, and then get them stronger, man, and then we'll go out there and see what we can do.
All right, now, one of the things about winning a lot of ball games last year is you get asked to speak at clinics and do things like this. How big of an honor was it that the Coastal Bend coaches asked you to come down here and speak at this clinic?
Oh, I was real honored. This is a great clinic. We came to it last year, and we learned a lot. Matter of fact, we went to the clinic that the head coach at Liberty Hill put on. We learned a lot from. I mean, we were doing a lot of stuff that he was already doing, but it was good to hear our type of stuff confirmed from such a great program. And then Gunner, we went to their. So maybe I should have took some better notes though. But
they got some good football players over there too. Give those guys a little credit. Looking ahead, you mentioned the offseason, kind of the focus of the offseason, and we'll see you guys out there in the summer throwing it around in 7-on-7. When we look at your ball club in 2024, it's weird to say that. Still got kind of used to saying 2024. What are the Tidehaven Tigers going to hang their hats on, or do you even know that yet? Is that something you still got to figure out? I mean, I know you mentioned you got to change some things up because you're good coaching, right? You're giving the ball to a Division I running back a lot, so losing him, kind of what's the personality of your ball club going to be next year? Or are you still trying to figure that out?
We'll sit down and we'll tweak throw some ideas out there. But for the most part, we're going to always play defense at Tidehaven. I always put defense first. So I think we're gonna be all right there. We're not probably gonna be possibly not as good as we were this past year, but we're gonna still be pretty salty on that side, and that's the goal that I always strive as a head football coach, is to be great on defense. Offensively, though, we got a pretty good quarterback. He's played 10 playoff games in 2 years as a freshman and a sophomore.
He's just a junior, he seems like he's been there forever.
Yeah, he's barely going to be a junior. He gets better athletically every year, so we expect that to keep improving. He's already strong as a bull. We like to get him a little faster. And then we got, like I said, we had 4 sophomores starting at one point on that offensive line, and all 4 of them are really good. And we got a couple pretty good ones that are going to join them. So we're gonna lean on that offensive line the next couple years. And we got athletes, so we got some fellas with some weight and some speed, and we just got to figure out which one of them we want to throw back there to hand the ball to. So and then of course you'll probably see us throw the ball a lot more without Joseph. You know what I mean? But again, that's nothing new. The year before we were kind of like that, and so we'll probably be a little bit more like that next year.
All right, final question. Realignment's coming up here in a couple of weeks. There's nothing. Coaches are always nervous about it because it's something. Coaches like to be in control of things, and this is one thing you guys aren't in control of. How do you handle realignment? Or do you have 4 or 5 different scenarios on the board, or are you kind of guy who just kind of lets it happen and then deals with it on February 1st?
Well, I don't sweat it too much, but we've been kind of, I don't know if you could say the word lucky, but we've kind of known the last few times who we're going to be, and we're kind of looking at that too. We figure Danbury's going 2-way and Industrial's coming down. We're probably just going to replace Danbury with Industrial, which will make no offense to Danbury, but it'll make our district tougher because Industrial, they're big, they got size, they got all that. They're our neighbors, so we got to deal with them all the time, and we know what they're about. So obviously they're gonna make the region tougher, and so and then we got to see where Blanco falls, what region they fall in. They fall in our region. Our region is going to be extremely tough, and so anyways, but for the most part, we kind of know what direction we're headed. So.
I think maybe the worst thing about, there's not a lot of things that are bad about playing for a state championship. Almost all of them are good. I guess the one bad thing is realignment year when you play for a state championship, because I imagine it's a little tougher to find non-district games. Have you been getting a lot of no calls when you call and ask for games?
Well, I haven't even. I already know some fellas. I mean, most of them ain't gonna play us. So yeah, it's tough, man. Especially when you're rebounding and you're not as good as the year before. You know what I mean?
No one believes you, right?
Yeah, no, they don't. Especially me. I don't know. I guess I look like a car salesman or something. They're like, yeah, whatever, Lucio. But yeah, we're still looking for week 2 and 3. I've talked to some big schools. I didn't call them. They called me or hit me up. But obviously we want to avoid that because we were real close to being 2A. We're not big. We're on the small end of 3A, and so we play I guess above our heads. And but the thing is that when you go lock up with some of these bigger schools, it can get you in some trouble because their depth is so much better than yours, and you end up coming across some injuries and that type of stuff. But so anyways, we'll see what happens on whatever day it comes. I can't even remember. I'll be there though.
You'll be there, right?
Yeah, and we'll see what's up.
All right, Coach. Appreciate your time. Get those pipes wrapped up, and we appreciate what you do for student athletes in the state of Texas. And we'll see you down the road on clinic season.
All right, thanks, legend.
There is David Lucio, head coach of the state finalists, Tidehaven Tigers.
I'm surprised nobody had to use that ATM machine behind him.
You were really enjoying all the goings on there at the Coastal Bend coaching
That was
clinic.
like I was there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you get a
Same thing.
real slice of life down there in in Corpus Christi. And yeah, he is a guy who knows something about top end prospects as well. Had an outstanding one there at running back this past year.
Yeah, we're gonna have a whole
Dodds.
lot of fun watching him at Baylor.
Joseph Dodds. I swear, what is it with 3A running backs in Baylor? Like
They
Dave
have the
Aranda.
market corner.
Dave Aranda has a type. Okay, he has a type. Bryson Washington, Dawson Pendergrass, Joseph Dodds. Like they're all kind of like the same running back. You know what I mean? Like they're different styles. Certainly Pendergrass and Dodds feel
Justice
very,
for Dawson
Oh, man,
Pendergrass.
I love Dawson Pendergrass. That dude rocks. Anyway, he's on the dude rock list. Anyway, we appreciate David Lucio making time for Matt Stepp a little bit earlier this week. Do we have? I'm sorry. When you're not here on Wednesday, it throws me off. I'm off kilter. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
Coming up at 2 o'clock today, Women Talking Football. We're back. And we're going to be joined by Lisa Master, who is an assistant athletic director over at Birdville. The reason we're talking to her is because she's like the main contact for all of the realignment stuff that happens at Birdville. So we're going to get kind of a behind the scenes look as to like what goes into setting up the war room, basically. So come join Mallory and I at 2, wherever you're watching.
Here's a small bit of W2F note if you want to put this on your rundown. I'm filling out. Thank you for all your emails and tweets. I'm working on updating our record book right now on TexasFootball.com. Do you know we have a young woman in our record book for the first time?
Oh, nice.
Emma Young, the kicker from Mansfield Timberview. She made. You remember they beat Sunset 90-0.
Mm-hmm.
She made all 12 extra points, which is I believe good enough for like tied for third in Texas high school
Let's
football
go.
history.
Let's go, Emma Young.
All-time extra points in a game.
We
so
need to have her on the show.
we have a young woman in our record book for the first time,
Let's
which is
go.
pretty darn cool. Anyway, that's going to do for us. You got anything for the people?
I mean, O-line at the Dallas camp, man. Drew Evers.
UTEP.
Cash Courtney.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't mention enough names. There were so many really good ones. Jordan Coleman from Cedar Hill. Man,
Yeah.
I could just keep running
It's all
down this
good.
list. Reggie Wilson, Naaman Forrest. You guys are all great.
TexasFootball.com/recruiting for more. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook. Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram. Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Thanks again to David Lucio of Tidehaven for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle and Greg Powers, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow for Helpful Honda Mailback Friday on Texas Football Today. I will see you.